Welcome to 2026, and I am going to try for the first time to do a net worth statement. So, one thing that I've always done, at least for the last 6, 7 years, is record down the money I have in my different investment accounts, as well as with my savings and everything like that. And I do a running total of, in a lot of ways, my assets and my net worth. But this is the first time I'm trying to put it down in a visual way that is a little bit clearer and easier to understand, as well as to try to break out the different segments. So I wanted to get your opinion on it. Do you do something like this yourself? Do you just do it in Excel? Do you do it in Word? Obviously this is in Excel right here. And let me walk you through it because I looked online and, I've seen some pictures of what people include and don't include. And really at the end of the day, as I'm in my early 50s, I just want to understand, for the most part, more my retirement savings. I do like to include some of my college savings as well. I really didn't include some of them in here in the assets. I did put some in my liabilities, but I'll explain that a little bit. But let's dive into it. And again, I'd like to get your thoughts on it. I could go out to the internet and browse and look at a couple other ones as well, but I was looking for something that I thought would be nice, and I really want to get this down to one page. And again, to be able to show growth from last year to this year. I have two different versions. This is one of the versions where it's really just the current net worth, and the other version that I have that I'm not going to show today does do some comparison from last year to this year. So to dive into it, I plan to do this every single year. So it's as of this date. And again, this is a mock-up of it. And I do sum up some of the information. So it lists up here, very easy to understand and view, is the total assets. You have the total liabilities, which is coming down here, things that I expect to have to pay out of my assets, and then showing my total net worth. And again, I'm going to use more liquid net worth. There are certain things that I exclude out of it. Down here, I give a representation of all the assets, so a nice little pie graph. I don't, I'm still trying to figure out if this is the right way that I'd want to see it. But right now, I think this is a nice graph to show the different accounts and how much is in each of these accounts. And then right down here in the lower left, I have the retirement income versus my savings. Obviously, savings could fall into retirement if it gets to that point, but I'll explain what I consider savings versus what I consider retirement. So up here, I have then all of the assets. So this is, the different retirement accounts for this, husband and wife. I have some additional IRAs that they have, and you can kind of see here. So I have the total assets as well as the breakdown of what's in each account, just to give some percentages. You can see there's, some combined brokerage and emergency savings, maybe a health savings account. You can do your checking savings. And again, here's that 529. So that would be maybe the college savings. So again, this is all the assets that, that I would list out here and give you a total amount. Then I have the liabilities, things that I would expect to have to pay in the future. So I put here potentially, close to $100,000 in college expenses, as well as future weddings. I know that number's probably a little small these days, or but it all depends on the style and size of the wedding that you're looking to have. And here again, it shows $121,000 for the liabilities, which brings it up here. I then put the semi-assets. So some people include this into their net worth. I kind of exclude it because most of these things don't really give you any income, right? Like until you sell it, then I probably wouldn't move it up here into savings. But I have the house in here, potentially what the current value is, the current liability, what you still owe on it, and then the amount that you have. So I put two different examples of cars and liabilities and stuff like that. But again, to me, cars are a depreciating asset. Eventually, they're worth almost nothing. So to me, having that as an asset, again, I just don't see it. And again, a house is great, but again, you don't have really any income from that. Maybe if it was a rental, then you could probably maybe include the rent from it. But again, I decided to exclude that out. I then did a couple totals down here. So between retirement and savings, you can see up here what I put for retirement and savings. Most of the 401ks and IRAs and the brokerage account are all considered really more retirement, as well as the health savings account. So that is something that I do. I consider my health savings account part of my retirement strategy, where I put the money away pre-tax. I plan to take it out tax-free, and I'm not actually using it right now. And then savings is really around that emergency fund, checking and savings, and not a lot of stuff, as well as the 529s. That's it's not for retirement, so I put that in a different category. And then down here, I'm still trying to figure out if there's a way that I can have it automatically sum up into it, but I don't have a way to do that today. Is pre-tax versus Roth. Well, again, while these figures aren't my own, they are a little bit representation in some ways of what I have. And I am very low on Roth. So I just thought it was just an interesting perspective. Again, if you are very qualified, pre-tax rich, and Roth not, you might want to take that into account as you get closer to retirement. So again, this is my one-page retirement net worth. I thought, I was just kind of interested. What do you plan to do? Net worth statements. I was looking at Money Guys, if you can see there. There's a lot of different ones out here that people have tried to create. I didn't find something that I liked, so that's why I created this. So curious to get your perspective. What do you do? What would you change? Curious to get your perspective. Maybe make a mock-up of yours and drop it in the comments. So thank you very much. Hope you find this helpful and something that you might want to try to do in the future. If you do want my template, drop me a comment and I will see if I can put it up on my OneDrive and put a link to it and send it back to you. Thank you very much.